Order at 8:32. Councillor Bowden, you're with us?
She says that she has no audio, although she is showing up as muted on our end, but that might be because she has no audio.
Okay.
Oh, there she comes. No, we still can't hear her. I guess I don't need to tell her that. She can hear me. Okay.
Okay, well, we're gonna run with it. Motion to drop the agenda is presented. Councillor Farrell. All in favor? Carried. Delegation, Exhibition 31 project update. Funny, but I don't see you oftentimes. I always do.
Okay.
That's where I run behind. I just get off my mind.
That screen is different than this screen.
Oh, that's fine.
So it'll cut off part of your presentation, unfortunately.
Okay. Good morning, everybody. Quick introductions. I think everybody knows me, but just in case, it's been a little bit of time. I used to babysit somebody 2 doors down. My name is Doravino, and Wanda and I are here to give you on Exhibition 31 project. So Wanda Peterson is our chair, our president of our society, and I'm sitting as a director on that board. So last time we were here, it was October 2023, which seems really crazy that it was that long ago, and then also it seems like it wasn't that long ago. So we'll just dive in. I didn't bring handouts to give everybody. I know last time we were here, we did do some, takeaways. We're going to keep it pretty casual, informal, Mayor, and just give you an update of where we're at and all the work we've been doing behind the scenes. And Wanda said that she was not going to public speak today, but she will jump in whenever she needs to. She also promised me that. So let's jump in. So this is our update for February 2025. And I see what Lori means about cutting the presentation off. Okay.
So unfortunately, do you have notes or can you wing it?
I'm winging it.
Okay, perfect. And then I'm going to share the slide presentation so people can, so that Councillor Bowden can see it as you're speaking.
Sure.
And don't mind me for a couple minutes if you want to go ahead.
Okay. So the organization, this is not a new idea. Everybody around the table pretty much knows this has been a conversation in our region, in our community for decades. I know I can remember when I was a summer student for Town of Hannah, talking to Scotty Dixon and the plans that the Rodeo Association had, and there was a group of other citizen champions that were involved in a conversation about an egg center. So we've had lots of different groups and individuals that have worked on ideas and putting this project together. So we've been fortunate to be able to now get the ball rolling again. And as of March 5th, 2004, we are a registered society. So this project specifically started as a committee under Harvest Sky Economic Development. So it was born the last time when we did the community action teams with some of the coal transition dollars. And so the livestock hub then formed as an egg Society project under Harvest Sky Economic Development. And now we are Exhibition 31 Egg Center and Services Society and registered with societies with Government of Alberta. And that sounds like it was easy peasy, quick process. It was not. So just a little bit of an overview, and we definitely have shared this with you in the past. But Matthew, this will be probably some of the first time you hear of the information. So it truly is going to be a multi-purpose, multi-facility project. Key components will be animal health and recreation center. Of course, it's planned to be near town of Hannah. The center will enhance and support the viability, sustainability, and the success of livestock producers in special areas. It will drive economic growth, provide increased opportunities for community engagement and recreation, and provide collaboration with regional stakeholders, such as educational institutions. We do have a website, so the website address is there, and past business case studies. We're working on getting it updated with more of our recent meeting notes, but go check it out. If you have questions or curious, our contact information is also on the website. So key value points. We took quite a bit of time a couple of years ago to work with local community groups and some neighboring projects that have egg center up and running, and then brought it back to say, what are really our uniqueness and the key value points of the project? So where our name comes from is we will be located in Township 31. And it far goes beyond the boundaries. So we're really hoping that it is an Alberta initiative for years and years to come. We truly believe it will be a in place, cutting edge animal health and welfare, and multi-generational legacy. So the components. So two big components of the project are the event center, livestock center, and rural community practice. Just whip through a little bit of our, preliminary conceptual designs. They definitely have changed depending on the different sites we've looked at, and they are not blueprint ready by any means. When we initially did the conceptual designs and cost the project out in 2023, it was specifically to fit a federal grant. So there is many components, green components in the building, what would cost out that probably won't be a reality. The grant, we did not get approved, and I'm almost thinking, and we've talked around the table, I think it was meant to be, even though it was tremendous amount of money. I think there was boxes that we were going to have to fit into with building that really wouldn't have been benefit in the long run. And everybody, please jump in at any time with questions. Like, I don't need just to chat. If you have any questions, jump in. So
just with the green initiative, there's still a lot of, I know from a town standpoint, I know there's a lot of green incentive out there, so I don't think you want to run away from that.
We don't completely want to run away with it, Danny, but Mayor, sorry, that was very important.
I've been called worse by nicer people, so.
But this one was to the point that we wouldn't have even been able to have a gas range in the concession. We couldn't use steel in some parts of. So it was, I understand that the importance of doing best in the building structure, and if it is helpful to use some green initiatives for that, but it was just, I think it was going to be too extreme for us to fit.
No, like I said, a lot of the grants are orientated as to green involvement.
Right.
And trying to fit into
Yeah.
the green. I mean, even like with the community center, we've taken a couple of different approaches trying to qualify for some grants there. And
Yeah.
it's a challenge.
And some of it just makes sense.
Yeah.
Yeah, some of it makes sense and other parts of it doesn't.
Yeah.
So the rural community practice, like we've chatted about before, yeah, key tenet would be large animal veterinarian. In this area here, we originally had this built as an office space. And we have redesigned that to be 2 dorms. That dormitory can be used for vet tech students. It can be used for veterinarian that must observe an animal 24 hours. So like these are not probably exactly what it's going to look like, but it's a vision of what we're dreaming for. Some of it will also depend on the tenant that we sign MOUs with. We're hopeful to have them involved before construction because there might be some components that we haven't thought about. And I truly believe, we truly believe that the rural community practice really is the legacy of the project and also is probably the most sustainable revenue income for the agency. Now, the arena floor, oh my gosh, I don't know how many times we drew this and cut little pictures and put them together and did puzzles and had a lot of experts. That is not me. And very fun conversation between the rough stock guys and barrel racers and the timing events. But this is what the arena would potentially look like. It will be 2 levels. However, there will not be an elevator in this facility. So the yellow piece is a low grade incline to get to the 2nd level. Cost of an elevator and maintenance was really interesting. And we also thought there's an opportunity to really use this space to do almost like the Walk of Fame and some legacy projects of our community. And there'll be all seating here and there'll be wheelchair accessibility seating here as well. So inclusive, and not just for wheelchairs, but just with mobility issues and to get rid of some stairs and those kind of things. So the main entrance would have a concession. It would have like an office per se for the facility as well as for events. So like your ticket booth for your concerts or rodeo events, and then an open area for seating.
So how many would be capacity?
In this current one, the seating capacity is just over 1,200. Vern.
Yeah.
With part up here, we were really interested in not putting it permanent seating. So we also can set up like VIP sections for certain events that would have foldable chairs. Where are we going to build it? Not here. Not there. So when we were here in 2023, this was the plan, and that has changed. So that is not where it's going.
This is where the solar
Oh, right.
field
Yes.
is planning to go.
And so the solar company was, of course, very interested in our project. Because they would have been behind us, I think, is some of the reason. But it's not going to be there, and the landowners were not interested in all in negotiating with our committee on land.
To purchase or to lease or either or
Either. We tried for months and months to arrange a meeting. And when we finally did receive communication, they said they were absolutely at no time interested to lease or sell that property for our project. So we move on. So next steps. So there's a kind of a joke around the table that we think we're on site D as the planning. But we're really excited about our prospective new site. It brings in great highway visibility, the access that we will build for all the buildings is really going to be great. So in June, we started having conversations with private landowners, and we have started some land negotiations with multiple private landowners. And today we are not going to share that site or those names as the meeting is live streamed and recorded. We just didn't feel that that was appropriate at this time, as we don't have formal agreements signed with those private landowners. So we have had preliminary conversation with the land development officer and talked about zoning for the project for the site and many different components of that. So we've started those conversations, and we have one formal land agreement in the development stage. We, as well as the landowner, have, had our visit with the lawyers, and we're drafting up that document. So when are we going to build it? So I have probably showed you this graph before.
So Gray, I just want to clear some information. The property that is to the east of Pine Ridge Supply is owned by myself, and that is part of the potential site. There is a sign up there. I'm sure a lot of people have seen it, and just so that no one thinks that we're trying to hide something, I just want to let you know that that is a potential part of the site D project. So, yeah, if you have any questions, again, reach out. We'll do the best we can to answer them for you.
Thank you. I just feel more comfortable about coming from the landowner than.
Well, we got a sign up.
I tried to bury it with snow, but.
Well, somebody's offered to buy the bales.
Yeah,
Yeah,
not realizing we weren't selling bales, but
So we've got some good laughs.
we've got some interest.
Yes. So when are we going to build it? Like I mentioned, we've moved that needle ahead slightly, and really truly isn't accurate of how much planning behind the yellow line has actually happened. But we have bumped some of our timeline a little bit, just with this having to go back to the drawing board and look at multiple sites. It definitely has slowed down the progress of the project. So we had to bump the dates a little bit, which we had set a goal January of 2023 that we would have shovels in the ground by 2025. So we will bury a shovel. And we will move forward. We will move forward. So how can you be involved? We want you to choose to be involved in making the project a reality. We'll be doing lots of fundraising to make the project happen, which will ultimately benefit our entire community for generations to come. We are planning events, raffles, all kinds of different fundraisers. There'll be several and variety of grants written. And we would like you to consider options to support the project to move forward. Suggestions of options: sponsorship, gift in kind, land. And when we are, time goes by, we would love to come and do another update for council when that works for you. We probably took a little bit too much time before we came this time around. because there has been tons and tons of stuff happening in the background. And like we said, the event center, our plan is that it will be rodeo to rock stars. And we want to shape our future together, because we know we do better together. This is our brand story, and I believe I actually, when Katie and I presented in October 2023, left hard copies of that. But if you're interested, I can definitely get them to you. It is a very good snapshot of what we want to do and our vision of the project and our vision for our region as we move forward.
Any questions of Duray or Wanda?
So with this building, are you getting involved with Olds College, Vermilion? You know,
We
like
hope to,
part of
yes.
as they could become part of the building, like set up a offshoot, like a residency of educational.
Practicums
Yeah.
and yes, yeah, that's what we're hoping to get involved with, yes.
That'd be great, to have.
And then, yeah, another reason to have those dorms and that.
Yeah.
Part there as well too, right?
Yeah, because they got the programs now with that, so you can do online stuff, so it'd be great.
And they've opened up more seats for at the veterinary
Yeah.
college, so the word is they're gonna need places for practicums for these vets coming out of school to go, so
Oh,
this
yeah.
would be an ideal place for them.
Anybody else?
It's cool you've got a dedicated team that's already done a long grind with a long ways to go.
We do, but I think that the champions that are sitting around the table, and when the time is right to include more champions,
Yeah.
is getting closer and closer.
Councilor recognize
has a
the-
comment.
What's that?
Just want to recognize the effort.
Thank you.
Thank you for that.
I'm thinking she must be typing it, I'm not sure. Yeah, I comment. I'm not sure how it's coming in. She has no audio, so yes.
So can you just text me your comment? We can't hear you at all, so our.
Housing prices is going up, not really trying to turn that to
Yeah,
time, I think just
yeah,
keep going.
price of steel, yeah, it's gonna be.
And I don't know if currently we have a realistic price tag anymore. Like when we priced it out, like it was over, it'll be 2 years ago, right around the corner. So like we would have to start from scratch on that.
Well, I know that bridge on on Pioneer Trail that when I first got on council, it went up just about $200,000 in 2 years, the cost of replacing that bridge, so. I mean, that was just about a $2 million project, and it's just about another 200, so 10% on top of it, so.
Sandra's comment says there could be spin-offs as well with perhaps development of South Municipal Road, question mark. I'm sure if it's a statement or a question. Love this project. Thank you for the presentation.
Very welcome.
That might help get it built. Start to look at.
Okay, no other questions, recommend a motion, we thank Duray and Wanda for coming in and doing their site planning architectural meeting with the director, an update on status activities exhibition 31, a rural gathering place. Motion, Councillor Kroll. All in favor? Carried. Thanks,
Thank
folks.
you very
Very
much. Have a great rest of your meeting and day. Be extra kind, pink shirt day.
Oh, yes.
I didn't know any better. Kyle and I coordinated.
With our kindness?
Yes.
Thank you very
Yeah.
much. Have a good one.
Yeah, shut it. Your time to shine, girl. No. No. Okay, on to Mr. Matthew.
Okay, to council, we have a new bylaw officer. She's here today. This is Chelsea. She's, I think, 2 weeks into her job. Last week we met with the RC.
It's like a month.
Probably 2 weeks-ish.
Month, 2 weeks, year.
But we met with the RCMP last week, so she got introduced to them. Last week or 2 weeks ago, I attended the job fair, which was interesting. I also had a meeting with Atco Electric, which happened to take place at the Calgary Flames game. And ongoing staff meetings carry on taking place. And this week is extremely busy with Zoom calls with our legal team. And next week is the AUC meeting, which also takes place while most of us are at the conference as well. So it's hectic.
Anything else that's wraps you up in a nutshell?
Yeah, that's pretty much it.
Perfect. Chelsea.
So the past month or so, however long I've been here, I've been kind of looking more at the traffic bylaw, largely because of the snow that we have had. A big thing being the parking time. So of course, if you're driving around, you can see while they're clearing snow, you can see some vehicles get blocked in. A big thing being the fact that we don't have a time limit on our parking at all. You can park a car our traffic bylaw right now says your car can't be in a state of disrepair, meaning it doesn't have a wheel on it or something like that. But if the car is sitting, all wheels on, as far as you can tell, it could be running. It can sit there as long as it wants.
Still has to be registered.
It does have to be registered, but unfortunately, I'm not able to tell that. The only people that can tell that is the RCMP, just because I am only bylaw, not a peace officer. So as far as you can tell, it is still supposed to be registered and movable. However, when I drove around last week, it's very obvious that there are some cars that are not drivable. For example, there is one just down the street, doesn't even have a license plate on it. It's been sitting there for however long it's been. So the big thing I want to do is actually implement a time period. I looked at a couple of different places, being Crossfield, Bowden, Trochu, and Stettler, all similar type sizes. Crossfield, Bowden, and Trochu all are doing 72 hours before the vehicle does have to move. It doesn't specify how far it has to move, just that it does have to move at some point. Stettler is 24 hours. My personal opinion would lean more towards the 72-hour period, just because 24 hours is not a lot, especially if you're visiting for a few days. So I am finding that 72 hours is probably a good idea. So that's more of a suggestion for me. I know that Public Works did bring up snow moving while there's snow removing. Yeah, that's what I'm trying to say.
Removal.
While they're removing snow, essentially cars are getting blocked in, people are not moving their cars. In our bylaw, there is something that states that they are required to move their vehicle if it's been posted. If it's been posted that, hey, we're gonna clear the snow tomorrow, you need to move your car. It does say in our bylaw, we can tow it. Of course, that is not really something the public is really in the know about. So we're not towing their cars right now. And I don't really suggest, being immediate, like, hey, we're towing your car. I think it could be a slow process of, hey, we really want to clear the snow, your car's getting blocked in, say you're gone for a week, the snow gets removed and your car's now blocked in, you have to shovel it out yourself. So the idea of maybe changing the sign saying, hey, you need to move your car, it's a possibility it may be towed or ticketed. And just being able to have that snow removal be a bit easier of a process for public works, especially because they do have to move around. You can see while they're clearing snow, you can see that there's a pile, just nice straight lines. Of course, they are having to move around any type of vehicles that are stuck there. So that is kind of something that I was hoping to implement as well. A couple different things. There is a lawn parking. Right now, we don't have anything about being able to not park on a lawn. The bylaw states that your car cannot be parked in your yard if it's in a state of disrepair, similar to that it can't be on the road in disrepair. Once again, it doesn't say anything about the vehicle. If it's drivable and registered, you can park it wherever you want on your lawn. I do remember seeing an email from previous bylaw, a complaint where they were parking directly on the lawn in some of the duplexes. So it was interfering with their neighbor, but bylaw can't really do a whole lot about it because it's technically not against our bylaws to park on the lawn. In personal opinion, of course, we've got our unsightly bylaw, which is, it does need reworked, of course, but a big thing is if you're parking on your lawn, you're wrecking the grass, you're making it worse. So I feel as though we should be implementing something as you're not able to park on your lawn. One of the examples for Bowden basically says that they can't park a vehicle or mobile unit on any portion of the lot that's not specifically constructed as a lawful driveway or parking pad. I was thinking maybe changing it to parking on the grass itself. So say it's a gravel area, you can park your car if you want. I was thinking more because of the grass, it's wrecking the grass as well as it just doesn't look great to be parking in the middle of your lawn. There is a couple right now. There is one specifically part of the town that it's very obviously parked in the middle of someone's lawn. If you're taking a look at, if you want to scroll down a bit more, it's just going to be that middle one there. It's very obviously parked on their lawn. Of course, with the snow, I can't tell if it's snow or if it's grass or not. But for example, it's very obviously parked in their front lawn. So it doesn't look great, but if it at least looks like somewhere you can park your car, it's kind of a bit of a change. So that's something I'd be suggesting as well. Of course, these photos just showing the amount of cars that are just parked that have obviously not moved at the time since the snowfall. A couple of these, you can tell, have not moved in a while. A few, maybe a bit more, but you can see the snow piled up around them. It just doesn't look great. And if they are to try and move their cars, especially, for example, the red van on the left-hand side, it's going to be a bit difficult to even drive out of the snow if it's not like a four-wheel drive car. So I think that it would just be a bit beneficial to everyone in terms of if you decide you want to move your car, or just the fact of snow removal can be a bit of a problem.
It's interesting you would mention this because I had a conversation with a resident and one of the vehicles in question are actually in your presentation. And not only does it affect your property, but it affects your neighbor's property.
Yes.
The one in question, for example, if the grader goes up and plows the snow from around that vehicle, unfortunately, where that vehicle's located, they can't get the snow plow up from in front of their driveway, the neighbor.
Yeah.
So it's not only a you problem, it becomes a block problem. I know I've seen different ones where we've had vehicles left and spring hits and then the water can't run down the gutter because it's full of ice and snow. So yeah, it coincidentally, like I said, literally I checked this presentation and I went, Our vehicle of question is on our presentation, so thank you.
Yes, and these are not all the vehicles. I did take quite a few more photos. I counted upwards of 20 cars that have obviously not moved at the time of the snowfall. So whether the residents are gone or they're just parking their car, I mean, it's hard to tell, of course, but for sure, some are just their extra cars. They don't have their space to park or anything. But of course, like I said, upwards of 20 cars. It doesn't look great on the community if someone is to come in. Your snow removal doesn't look great. You kind of look like they've done a half job because they have to plow around all these vehicles, which of course is nothing to do with them.
Not to mention the safety and the skill of the equipment operator.
Exactly. If an equipment operator is to hit one of these vehicles, you know, it's on them, it's on the town. The town's gonna have to repair that. It's gonna cost the town, where if we put up signs, say, hey, your vehicle may be towed. If it is hit, you know, we're not responsible. You know, it's saving the town some money in terms of, but, you know, the fact that at the end of the day, someone's vehicle may be damaged and no one really wants to have their vehicle stuck in a shop. So with the traffic bylaw, right now, our bylaws stating that you must parallel park anywhere where there is not currently lines. So the only place we're really having any type of parking lines is Main Street. Specifically, I'm wanting to talk about the cul-de-sacs. So Trochu right now basically states that you can park at an angle in the cul-de-sac as long as it doesn't interfere with the flow of traffic. I didn't take any pictures, but as I'm sure you all know, driving around town, any of the cul-de-sacs, you know, your car is parked directly perpendicular to your house. I don't see that being an issue. I just think it should be updated in our traffic bylaw to state that, hey, this is okay. It safe space. It's how everyone parks already. As long as it's not interfering with traffic, I think that's a big update, because if you do have to parallel park in a cul-de-sac, your car's a straight line and the cul-de-sac's a circle. You get the idea.
Chelsea, I have a question for you from Councillor Bowden. She's on the Zoom meeting here. And she's saying, what about parking on the grass for more than X number of days? For emergency to get it off the road, some may need temporarily.
Yeah, so I mean, that's always an option. I know it talks about being parked, say your vehicle's stuck on the road because it is an emergency, it's broken down. As long as you can actively show why this is being either parked on the grass, or, for example, you know, your tire's blown, you need 2 days, the store's closed, you can't get a tire for 2 days. As long as it's an active, like a reason as to why it's being parked there, I do feel like you could possibly give some leeway on that. Of course, the one in the presentation itself, it's obviously stored there for the winter. That's a bit different. So, I mean, that can always be kind of worked out, whether it's
Problem with a bylaw where there's discretion.
Yeah.
Makes it.
Yeah, I mean, the problem is bylaw is a lot about discretion as well anyways. Of course, you know, it's stuck there, but you can't always be immediate, like, hey, this is exactly what it says, I'm taking you right now. For example, being the electrical cord bylaw right now, we're stating how it has to be 2.5 meters in the air around over the sidewalk. I talked with a resident about moving his cord. I said, I'm not about to come out there with a tape measure, go, oh, it's only 2 meters, like, I'm gonna give you a ticket. As long as, you know, the general idea of, hey, this is why this can't be like this, for example, the electrical cord, you know, safety hazards, stuff like that, as long as it's able to be kind of save what you're looking to, basically. out of the law. So say with the grass, you're looking to save the grass. If it's on the grass for a day because it needs to move from the street, or you're waiting for a part or something like that. It might be a bit different as compared to you're storing your car on the grass, right? So
We have had circumstances in the past too, where people have had a requirement to, whether it's a little bit longer parking for their RV or whatever it might be on the street, where they have come in and let the staff or the bylaw officer know why
Exactly.
it is that way, and then they're granted the
yeah, exactly.
permission, so that if somebody does come in and complain about it, it's legit.
Yeah, we can always update the unsightly. The unsightly one does need to be reworked anyways. It is relatively old, and the fact that it should be updated more to a community standards type thing and maybe merge some bylaws together. So we could look at, instead of putting it, say, in the traffic bylaw, we could put it in unsightly. So that's kind of more down the road. The last two things, school zone in our bylaw right now state that they are from 8 a.m. to 9 p.m. Which we have our signs do not say that, our signs just say school zones. I know personally, doing driving tests here, they're going off of the Traffic Safety Act, 8 a.m. to 9:30. 11:30 a.m. to 1:30 p.m. and 3 p.m. to 4 p.m. So I feel like those do just need to be updated to kind of go off that. Mostly because, it's hard to enforce either way, especially, with the type of vehicle I do have, I'm able to tell if they're, speeding, but it's hard for me to enforce just because it's a bylaw, Traffic Safety Act, it's difficult. I think it just needs to be updated to the Traffic Safety Act because that is what the majority of residents are thinking it is anyways.
Can we, go like some of the major places, like it's, like a school zone, like from early in the morning till dusk?
Yeah,
You leave it at one time instead of
these three. Yeah, we could definitely update it. Our school zone is also a playground zone.
Yeah.
So at the end of the day, it's still gonna be from 7:30 to 1 hour after dusk anyways. I think either way, it does need to come out of the bylaw saying that it's from 8 a.m. to 9 p.m.
Yeah.
Whether that changes to the same time as the playground zones, something like that. But I do think that needs to come out of the bylaw and either being put in as same times as the playgrounds or changing it to the Traffic Safety Act.
Or make it more standard, like a lot of people use both of them, playground and school.
Yeah, and like I said, our school zone is also a playground zone. It would make sense to have it from the 7:30 a.m. to 1 hour after dusk as per the Traffic Safety Act already. That's what the majority of residents are doing anyways. And the last one just being, we do have a separate bicycle bylaw currently. I'm just wanting to combine that inside the Traffic Safety Act. The bicycle bylaw is very basic. It essentially just says you can't operate on a sidewalk. It talks about you have to signal. And that you have to have lights and a red reflector at night. I feel they can just be combined instead of having a multitude of bylaws that we already have. I think we should be updating it that kids' bikes are exempt. Stetler has the example of no person shall ride a bicycle with a wheel diameter greater than 50 centimeters on any sidewalk within the town. So I think something similar to that. Because either way, I'm not about to enforce, hey, your kid's riding their little bicycle on the sidewalk, let's put them in danger and put them on the road. I'm not about to do that either way. But I do feel like we can just combine them and kind of be able to, lower the amount of bylaws that we have and just putting them together, so. Any other questions?
Council Olson?
Chelsea, I like all these goals. I like all your ideas here. I'd like to add one more.
Mhm.
I know nobody around this table has heard me talk about it, but we had urban hen discussion a while ago. And it was stripped from the bylaw. But there was support for a trial, as every community often starts with. It's just like a 1 year, basically a bylaw with the caveat that in a year it's reevaluated and could be stripped away.
Yeah.
I would like some investigation that way. Let's see if there's something that can be put together.
Yeah, it's definitely a decent idea, especially with, for example, being the 72-hour parking. I mean, and finding out what the residents are kind of feeling about that. I know obviously the 20+ cars that are sitting there, those residents are probably not going to be super happy about it. And just kind of course, having that trial period and being able to ease into, hey, we have this new bylaw, vehicle cannot be parked there anymore.
Yeah.
And testing that out, is kind of getting feedback from residents as well. So that is something that we could definitely look
Yeah,
at.
all those ones
testing it out.
I'm comfortable with, a proper bylaw.
The biggest thing is.
But the urban hen.
Yeah, the urban hen is just an
trial
add-on, so
one,
something
yes.
that we should look at or go look
Yeah.
at, so. I think the biggest thing is,
In the animal control bylaw.
so we don't get the negative feedback. As much pushback if we do an information as far as this is what the bylaw states.
Mhm.
Please, try to comply. If you have any questions, reach out to the office. And, I like everything you have there. Like I said, I don't know that we want to come off with a heavy hand. I think it's be more of an education process, like warning instead of ticketing to initially. After 2, 3, then your discretion, 2,
Yeah.
3, 4 warnings, then we go to the ticketing thing, but.
Yeah, and I'm doing that now with even the current bylaws that we have. I mean, I did go out last week talking about electrical cords and snow removal. I just talked with them and like, hey, this is what our bylaw says. Can we just get this
Work with
done?
me.
Yeah, pretty much. I don't even have the tickets thing to be able to write them yet. Cause it's very much a, hey, there is bylaw again. Can we try and get this to comply? I don't feel that tickets. People get really annoyed if they get no discussion and suddenly they have a ticket. So I do think that.
You don't want to be the most hated person in town.
Well, I'm going to be anyways,
No,
sure.
no, you won't actually.
So I think that like education is gonna be a big thing, whether it's the updated traffic bylaw or even just our current bylaws in general. So.
Perfect.
Yeah, your effort of talking and educating people is noticed and appreciated.
Yes, thank you.
You motion to thank Charles. Yeah, really? Yes, no. Councilor Thurl says we need a motion, so we need a motion. Thank Charles for her presentation and welcome aboard.
Another comment, if I may, from Councillor Bowden,
Mm.
who says, great job and discretion, Chelsea. This is definitely an improvement to you.
Cool. Now the alley. Oh, all in favor? Yeah, okay. See, I got that. Henry Kruger.
Do you want to talk about that?
I
can in more detail than I do.
Well, you run with it and I'll fill in the holes. How does that sound?
Okay, so to council, as you know, that we need to replace pump 6 at the water facility. They went out and got 3 quotes to do that. They start at 60,000, go to 70 and end up at 91. When I spoke to Garth there, he said the cheapest one is good enough. You don't need the most expensive one. He said that will serve its purpose. So I believe we're just looking for feedback from council how we want to go about replacing this pump and the funds used for it. I think we budgeted for 2025 and 2026, $25,000 a year to reserves. We already have some reserves set aside for the water treatment place. So yeah, we're just looking for feedback on, how you want us to approach this.
Okay, the existing pump is about 30 years. And normally what we can do with them from a water commission is rebuild them, resurface them. So on and so forth. We have run that gauntlet and it's beyond resurfacing. They sandblasted it down, and when I see the pictures, actually all of them see the pictures of it. We definitely got our light out of those pumps. It's unfortunate, but I don't think that it's a matter of if we want to, it's a matter that we have to. It's kind of one of those things that really sucks, but it's part of business, I guess is what I'll call it.
No, I think we should replace it and because one day it's just going to crater. And if we don't have water.
Right now, we can run with a backup system, but again, you don't want to rely on your backup as a primary, and then when you have problems with your backup, you have no backup. So my net recommendation would be that the town move ahead with that. I don't see we have to bring it to council, but basically, like I said, the pump's got to be redone, and it yeah.
The biggest thing is that we allocate the funds to pay for it. We work on the 25 per year, or we pull from reserves.
What's
Well,
in the reserves for water right now?
What was it? Is
There's.
I was gonna say 300 some for some reason seems to pop into my head, so okay.
It seems like good use of the 25 for this year.
Yeah,
And then
yeah,
the rest from
And pull the
reserves.
Yeah, that's the point of the reserves from what I understand.
So not putting the 50 into reserves for the 25 year.
Yeah, yeah. I think that's a clear way.
They'll have to come back to council for a motion, correct? Yes. Yeah. So, yeah, it's.
And Garth is quite comfortable with the 60,000.
Yeah. Yeah, we talked about it again on what the hell night was that? It was last Tuesday night. Well, the pictures don't do it, John. Like it's bad. I actually went over the plant, took a look at them, and they are, yeah. And again, the plant has been in place for 40 years now, just about. Yeah, it's going. So we are gonna, and we've been changing and upgrading as it goes along, but I mean, ultimately, there's gonna be points in time where you're gonna have, I won't call it catastrophic failure, but you're gonna have failures that have to be, and there's nothing you can do maintenance wise. That's the shitty part about this. You can cycle the pumps, you can do everything you do, but ultimately just wear and tear catches up eventually, and that's one of these wear and tear items that, and that's why we put money into reserves, is for this purpose.
Councillor Bowden's comment is as long as the cheapest option will last, as long as the more expensive option, I support the judgment of Henry Kruger Water Commission.
Okay.
Is the same brand available?
No, it's with just about everything in the world now, the companies go obsolete, they get bought out by bigger companies, small companies start up and stuff, and even we're finding that our backup generator that we had to replace was 10 years old and was obsolete. So yeah. Like I said, Bart does a really good job. Like he went out and got 3 quotes, and I would trust Garth. He's done a very good job of running that. So motion that council provide feedback with the replacement of pump 6. Councillor Olson, all in favor? Carried. You can get back to Garth.
yeah, I'll let him know.
Yeah. Anybody else with anything else? Okay,